The unexpected hero. Dr. Sarah Chen never expected her quantum entanglement breakthrough to attract attention beyond Earth, let alone from across the galaxy. The 32-year-old physicist had spent the last decade developing what she called quantum bridges, stable connections between entangled particles that could transmit information instantly across any distance. While the scientific community remained skeptical, Sarah knew she was onto something revolutionary. Late one night in her MIT laboratory, as she fine-tuned her latest prototype, her equipment detected an unusual signal. At first, she thought it was interference, but the pattern was too regular, too precise. The signal pulsed with a complexity that suggested intelligence, yet it wasn't coming from any known source on Earth. Sarah spent hours analyzing the transmission, her excitement growing as she realized she was receiving what appeared to be a distress call from deep space. The quantum signature matched nothing in human databases, but her equipment was picking it up through the quantum bridge she created. Someone out there had technology similar to hers, and they needed help. Using her knowledge of quantum mechanics, Sarah began decoding the message. The process took days, during which she barely slept, sustained by coffee and the thrill of discovery. When she finally cracked it, the message's contents left her stunned. It was from Queen Zira of the Nexian Empire, a vast civilization spanning multiple galaxies who had been imprisoned by her own military council during a coup. The Queen's message explained that she had detected Sarah's quantum experiments from her prison cell, recognizing the similarity to Nexian technology. She believed Sarah might be able to help her escape, as the humans' unique approach to quantum physics could bypass the advanced Nexian security systems that her own allies couldn't penetrate. Sarah faced a difficult decision. The message included coordinates for a quantum transmission point that would allow her to be temporarily transported to the prison facility. It was dangerous and possibly one-way, but the implications for humanity were enormous. If she succeeded, she could establish first contact with an advanced civilization and potentially gain a powerful ally for Earth. After securing her research and leaving encrypted notes for her colleagues, Sarah made her choice. She calibrated her quantum bridge to the coordinates provided and initiated the transport sequence. The world around her dissolved into brilliant blue light as her consciousness was transmitted across the cosmos. She materialized in a crystalline cell block unlike anything in human architecture. The walls shimmed with an inner light, and gravity felt slightly stronger than Earth's. Through the translucent barriers, she could see other cells, most empty, stretching into the distance. A figure approached from the shadows, tall, humanoid, but clearly alien. The being's skin had a subtle, iridescent quality, and its eyes held an inner light that spoke of advanced evolution. This was Queen Zira, and despite her imprisonment, she carried herself with unmistakable nobility. Dr. Chen, the Queen spoke, her words somehow translated perfectly in Sarah's mind. You are either very brave or very foolish to come. Perhaps both, as those traits often coincide in species on the brink of cosmic emergence. Sarah straightened her back, pushing aside her fear. I received your message, Your Majesty. I'm here to help, but I need to understand what we're dealing with. The Queen explained how the Nexian Empire had maintained peace across 12 galaxies for millennia through a combination of advanced technology and diplomatic wisdom. But a faction of military leaders, led by High Commander Vex, had grown hungry for expansion and conquest. They saw the discovery of emerging civilizations like Earth as an opportunity for exploitation rather than peaceful contact. They fear the unpredictability of young species, Zira explained, especially humans. Your capacity for innovation, for finding unexpected solutions, terrifies them. That's exactly why I reached out to you. Before they could discuss further, alarms blared throughout the facility. The quantum transport had been detected. Sarah's mind raced. She had minutes at most to figure out how to free the Queen before security forces arrived. She pulled out her prototype quantum bridge device, a crude thing compared to Nexian technology, but perhaps that would be an advantage. The prison's security systems would be designed to counter advanced attacks, not primitive human science. "Your Majesty," Sarah said, her fingers flying over the device's interface, "I'm going to try something that probably violates several laws of physics. I suggest you stand back." In the distance, the sound of heavy footsteps approached. Sarah had one chance to prove that human ingenuity could accomplish what advanced alien technology could not. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, and the real adventure was about to begin. The quantum bridge hummed to life, its crude Earth-made components straining as Sarah pushed them beyond their designed limits. She had a theory, one that might just save them both or tear apart the fabric of space-time. Either way, they were about to make history. Breaking the impossible. Sarah's quantum bridge device pulsed with an unstable energy that made the air crackle. The approaching guards were moments away, their heavy footsteps echoing through the crystalline corridors. Queen Zero watched with a mixture of fascination and concern as the human physicist manipulated her primitive device with unwavering confidence. "What you're attempting," Zero said, "it violates the fundamental laws of quantum mechanics as we understand them." Sarah managed a tight smile. "That's the thing about human scientists. We have a bad habit of proving the impossible possible." Her fingers danced across the interface. "Your security systems are designed to prevent quantum tunneling at a macro scale. But what if we don't tunnel at all? What if we create a localized quantum superposition state?" The device began to hum at a frequency that made Zero's crystalline cell vibrate. Sarah had theorized that if she could force the quantum state of the cell walls to temporarily exist in multiple states simultaneously, there would be a moment, just a fraction of a second, where the barrier between inside and outside would be meaningless. The first guards rounded the corner, their weapons charged. They were imposing figures in armor that seemed to bend light around them, making them appear almost liquid in their movements. Sarah recognized the advanced technology for what it was, and more importantly, recognized its limitations. Now, Sarah activated her device just as the guards opened fire. The energy beams passed through the space where the cell wall had been, but also hadn't been, in a quantum paradox that made Sarah's head spin. She grabbed Zero's hand and pulled. For a terrifying moment, they existed everywhere and nowhere within the cell's boundaries. They emerged on the other side, behind the startled guards. Sarah's device was smoking, circuits fried from the impossible feat she'd forced it to perform. But they were free. "Run!" Sarah shouted, though Zero was already moving. The Queen's natural grace made Sarah's human movements seem clumsy in comparison, but adrenaline drove her forward. They sprinted through corridors that seemed to shift and change, the prison's architecture itself trying to trap them. "The docking bay," Zero said between breaths. 2 levels down, but the security protocols are probably based on Nexian technology, Sarah finished. "Which means they'll be looking for Nexian solutions." She pulled a small tablet from her pocket, another piece of Earth technology she'd brought along. Sometimes the best way to beat advanced tech is to go primitive. They reached a sealed doorway, its surface rippling with energy fields that would disintegrate anything that touched them. The guards were regrouping, calling for reinforcements. Sarah connected her tablet to the door's control panel, not trying to hack it, but rather to overwhelm it with nonsense data. "Your device can't possibly interface with our systems," Zara observed. "Exactly," Sarah grinned. "It's not trying to. It's just screaming gibberish so loudly that your system can't process legitimate commands, including the ones keeping this door closed." The energy field flickered and died as the security system crashed, unable to handle the flood of incompatible data. The door slid open, revealing a maintenance shaft that would take them down to the docking bay level. As they climbed down, Zero spoke. "You're unlike any being I've encountered, Dr. Chen. Your solutions shouldn't work, yet they do. Perhaps that's why Vex and his followers fear humanity so much." "Fear leads to poor decisions," Sarah replied, thinking of her own choice to answer an alien distress call. Like imprisoning a queen who understands that different doesn't mean dangerous. They emerged into a vast chamber, filled with sleek vessels that made Earth's most advanced spacecraft look like children's toys. But they weren't alone. High Commander Vex himself stood waiting, flanked by elite guards. His armor pulsed with living energy, and his eyes fixed on them with cold calculation. "My queen," he said, his voice carrying artificial calm. "Your human pet's primitive tricks end here. The natural order must be maintained. Emerging species must be controlled, guided, or eliminated. They cannot be allowed to disrupt the stability we've built." Sarah stepped forward, placing herself between Zira and Vex. "Stability through control isn't peace," she said. "It's stagnation. And if you think humanity will accept being controlled, you really don't understand us at all." Her damaged quantum bridge device was useless now, her tablet too far from any systems to disrupt. But Sarah had one more trick, one more impossible idea, because that's what humans did best. They found ways to overcome impossible odds. She reached slowly into her pocket, feeling the small device she'd brought as a last resort. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even particularly advanced by Earth standards. But used correctly, it might just prove that humanity deserved its place among the stars. Vex raised his weapon, its barrel glowing with enough energy to vaporize them both. "Surrender now, and perhaps we can study how your primitive mind achieved these impossibilities before we eliminate you." Sarah's fingers closed around the device in her pocket. "Here's the thing about humans, Commander," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We don't believe in no-win scenarios." The device in her pocket was about to demonstrate exactly why humanity's unpredictability made them not a threat to galactic peace, but essential to its evolution. The next few moments would either mark a new chapter in human-alien relations or end their story permanently. Either way, Sarah was about to show the Nexians why underestimating humanity was their biggest mistake. Survival and strategy. The device Sarah pulled from her pocket looked deceptively simple, a small black cube that could have been mistaken for an Earth smartphone. Vex's elite guards tensed, their weapons humming with deadly energy, but the High Commander's expression showed only contempt. "That primitive technology cannot harm us," he stated, though Sarah noticed his weapon remained trained on her steadily. "Harm you?" "No." Sarah held up the cube. "This is actually just a cheap speaker playing a specific frequency. The same frequency, in fact, as your quantum drives." She nodded toward the sleek ships surrounding them. "Did you know that human scientists recently discovered that quantum entanglement can be disrupted by specific sound waves?" Vex's confidence wavered for the first time. "Impossible. The quantum matrices in our ships are shielded against all known forms of interference." "Known forms, yes." Sarah activated the speaker. A high-pitched whine filled the docking bay, barely perceptible to human ears, but causing the Nexian guards to wince. "But you didn't shield against sound waves produced by primitive Earth technology, did you? Sound waves that just happen to match the resonant frequency of your quantum drives." The nearest ship's engines began to pulse erratically. Warning alarms blared throughout the bay as the quantum matrices powering the vessels started to destabilize. Vex's eyes widened in genuine fear as he realized what was happening. "Stop this immediately," he commanded. "You'll destroy the entire facility." "Only if you force me to," Sarah replied calmly. "The quantum cascade effect will spread to your weapons next. Those are powered by the same technology, aren't they?" Queen Zira stepped forward, her voice carrying royal authority despite her recent imprisonment. "Stand down, Commander. You've lost, and you're about to lose much more if you don't surrender immediately." The guards looked uncertainly at their weapons, which had begun to emit the same unstable pulse as the ship's. Vex's own armor flickered as its quantum power source struggled against the disrupting frequency. "You'd risk everything," Vex demanded of Sarah. "Your own life included." "That's another thing about humans," Sarah said. "We're really good at calculated risks. Right now, I calculate that your choice is to either stand down or watch your entire defense system collapse around you. And since I'm controlling the frequency, she adjusted a dial on the speaker, causing the destabilization to intensify. Time's running out for that decision. One by one, the guards lowered their weapons. Even their advanced training couldn't override the basic instinct for survival. Vex remained defiant for a moment longer, but as his armor's power fluctuated dangerously, he too surrendered. Humans, he spat the word like a curse. You're more dangerous than we imagined. No, Queen Zero corrected him. They're more innovative than you feared. And that's exactly why they deserve to join the galactic community as equals, not subjects. She turned to Sarah. Though I admit, I'm curious how you knew this would work. Sarah powered down the speaker, relief washing over her as the quantum drives stabilized. I didn't, not entirely. But I noticed during my quantum bridge experiments that certain frequencies caused unexpected interactions. The rest was just human intuition. As loyal palace guards, summoned by the quantum disturbance, arrived to arrest Vex and his conspirators, Sarah found herself looking at the alien ships with newfound appreciation. Her simple Earth technology had overcome their advanced systems not through superiority, but through thinking differently. Queen Zira placed a hand on Sarah's shoulder. Your actions today have done more than secure my freedom, Dr. Chen. You've proven that humanity has much to teach us, just as we have much to teach you. Assuming Earth's governments don't panic when they learn about all this, Sarah said, suddenly realizing she'd have to explain to her superiors how she'd initiated first contact by breaking an alien queen out of prison. Zura's eyes sparkled with amusement. Perhaps it's time for both our peoples to embrace a little chaos in the name of progress. After all, you've proven that the impossible becomes possible when we stop fearing the unknown. As the docking bay returned to normal operation, Sarah began to understand that her quantum bridge experiment had succeeded far beyond her original goals. She had bridged not just particles, but civilizations. The path ahead would be challenging, introducing humanity to the galactic community, balancing the exchange of technologies, preventing future conflicts born of fear. But looking at the diminished figure of Vex being led away in restraints, Sarah knew that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or their technology. It was in their ability to face the unknown with courage, creativity, and the unwavering belief that there was always another solution, another way forward, no matter how impossible the odds seemed. The real work was just beginning. The power of human ingenuity. In the aftermath of Vex's arrest, Sarah found herself aboard the royal flagship of the Nexian Empire, a vessel that defied human comprehension. The ship's bridge was a vast chamber where holographic displays floated in three-dimensional space, showing real-time data from across multiple galaxies. But at the moment, all attention was focused on a single point in space: Earth. Your world knows nothing of what has transpired here, Queen Zira observed, watching Earth's familiar blue sphere rotate in the holographic display. How do you propose we proceed with first contact? Sarah studied the tactical displays, noting the positions of various Nexian factions. Despite Vex's arrest, some of his supporters remained at large. We need to be careful. Earth has a long history of reacting unpredictably to perceived threats. Like responding to an alien distress call with nothing but a homemade quantum device and a speaker. Zura's tone carried a hint of amusement. Exactly. Sarah smiled, but her expression quickly turned serious. The problem is, Earth's governments will want access to Nexian technology. Your military council feared that. Maybe they weren't entirely wrong about the risks. Perhaps Zura agreed, but their solution was wrong. Control through fear only breeds resistance. You've shown us there's another way. The Queen waved her hand, and the holographic display shifted to show various Earth technologies. While you were asleep, I had our analysts study your world's technological development. The speed of your advancement is remarkable. Sarah watched as the display showed the progression from the first computers to quantum computing in less than a century. We're persistent. You're innovative, Zero corrected. In the time it takes most species to refine a single approach, humans develop dozens of alternatives. It's inefficient, chaotic, and brilliant. She turned to Sarah, which is why I have a proposal. Before she could continue, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical display flared red as multiple vessels emerged from quantum space. Sarah recognized their configuration, ships loyal to Vex's faction. It seems some of my people still cling to the old fears, Zira said calmly, though her posture tensed. They mean to prevent us from reaching Earth. The ship's captain, a tall Nexian named Krell, approached with urgent news. My queen, they've deployed quantum inhibitors. Our conventional drives are useless. Sarah studied the tactical display, her mind racing. The enemy ships had created a quantum disruption field similar to what her speaker had done in the docking bay, but far more sophisticated. They were trapped. They're hailing us, Krell reported. The holographic display shifted to show the face of Admiral Nix, one of Vex's most loyal supporters. My queen, she said, her tone formal but cold. Surrender now, and we will ensure Earth remains untouched by our conflict. Resist, and we will be forced to demonstrate to humanity why some species are not ready for galactic civilization. Sarah stepped forward before Zira could respond. Admiral, I'm Dr. Sarah Chen of Earth. Before you make threats, you should know something about humans. We don't respond well to them. The primitive who caused this chaos, Nick sneered. You've done enough damage to our civilization. No, Sarah replied, her mind already formulating a plan. I've barely started. Captain Krell, does this ship have a standard radio transmitter? Something that can broadcast old-fashioned electromagnetic waves? Krell looked confused but nodded. Yes, for studying primitive, forgive me, emerging civilizations. Good. Sarah turned to Zira. Your Majesty, remember how I mentioned humans develop dozens of alternatives? Right now, those ships are blocking quantum communication and quantum drives. But sometimes, the best solution is to go old school. Understanding dawned in Zira's eyes. You intend to use primitive technology against advanced defenses. Again. The quantum inhibitors create a specific field effect, Sarah explained, moving to the communications console. But they don't block normal electromagnetic waves. In fact, she studied the sensor readings. The field itself creates a unique pattern of electromagnetic interference. Which means what, exactly? Nix demanded from the display. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. It means you've given us a galaxy-sized antenna. Captain Krell, please modulate the radio transmitter to match these frequencies. She sent the calculations to his console. And get ready to fire up the quantum drives on my mark. The enemy ships moved closer as Sarah worked, confident in their quantum inhibitor field. What they didn't realize was that Sarah had recognized something in the field's electromagnetic pattern, a harmonic frequency that could be amplified by simple radio waves. Dr. Chen, Zira said quietly, if this doesn't work. Trust in human ingenuity, Your Majesty. Sarah finished her calculations. Now, Captain. The ship's radio transmitter activated, broadcasting a precise frequency into space. The quantum inhibitor field rippled as the radio waves interacted with it, creating a cascading resonance effect. Suddenly, the field itself became an amplifier, broadcasting the signal back at the enemy ships with exponentially increasing power. Their quantum systems, designed to handle sophisticated attacks but not simple electromagnetic interference, began to overload. One by one, the ships lost power, their own inhibitor field turned against them. Now, Sarah shouted, quantum drives. The Royal flagship's engines rolled to life, no longer suppressed by the disabled inhibitor field. Within moments, they had opened a safe distance from the powerless enemy fleet. Admiral Nix's image flickered on the display. This is impossible. Primitive technology cannot. You still don't understand, Sarah interrupted. Humanity's strength isn't in our technology. It's in our ability to use everything at our disposal to find solutions where others see only obstacles. She looked at Zira. Maybe that's what your civilization needs. A reminder that progress doesn't always mean moving forward. Sometimes it means looking back to move ahead. The Queen nodded slowly. Indeed, Admiral Nix, your ships are disabled, and reinforcements loyal to the Crown are on their way. I suggest you consider what humanity has taught us today about the dangers of underestimating those we consider primitive. As Nix's image faded, Sarah turned back to the display of Earth. Their victory had done more than ensure their safety. It had demonstrated why humanity deserved its place among the stars, not because of advanced technology or military might, but because of their unique way of viewing the universe and all its possibilities. Now then, Zira said, about that proposal I mentioned. Sarah knew that whatever came next would change human history forever. But looking at the Earth floating in the holographic display, she also knew that humanity was ready for that change. They had proven it not with force, but with ingenuity, the greatest human trait of all. Alliance of Two Worlds. The MIT auditorium fell silent as Sarah stood at the podium, facing a room full of Earth's leading scientists, military officials, and government representatives. Behind her, Queen Zira's holographic presence commanded attention, her ethereal form a stark reminder of how far humanity had come, and how far they had yet to go. 3 months ago, Sarah began, I broke about a dozen international laws and probably violated several physics principles to answer an alien distress call. Today, we're about to change human history forever. She gestured to the quantum bridge device, now refined with Nexian technology. But first, we need to address the elephant in the room, fear. The audience stirred uncomfortably. Since the revelation of alien life, Earth's nations have been locked in heated debates about how to proceed. Some pushed for immediate technological exchange, others for isolation and defense. The Nexian Empire faced the same fear. Zura's hologram spoke. It nearly destroyed us. But Dr. Chen showed us a better way, one that embraces the chaos of innovation rather than fears it. Sarah activated a holographic display, showing a new type of technology that made several scientists gasp. This is what we've developed in just 3 months of collaboration. We call it the hybrid quantum matrix. It combines Nexian quantum precision with human adaptability. The display showed a network of interconnected nodes, some built with advanced Nexian technology, others with surprisingly simple Earth components. The beauty of this system, Sarah continued, is that it's neither purely Nexian nor purely human. It's something entirely new. A general raised his hand. Dr. Chen, how can we be sure this technology won't be used against us? The Nexian Empire is vastly more advanced. An understandable concern, Zura responded, which is why we're not simply giving you technology. We're proposing something unprecedented, the Human Nexian Innovation Initiative. Sarah brought up another display, showing a massive space station under construction at the Earth-Moon Lagrange point. This facility will be jointly operated, combining Earth's top minds with Nexian scientists. But here's the key. All research must incorporate both human and Nexian approaches. Because we've learned, Zira added, that the combination of human creativity and Nexian technology creates solutions neither of our civilizations could achieve alone. To demonstrate, Sarah activated the hybrid quantum matrix. The auditorium's lights dimmed as a 3-dimensional representation of the Milky Way appeared above the audience. But unlike traditional holograms, this one showed something unprecedented: the quantum connections between stars, the hidden pathways of space-time that the Nexians had spent millennia mapping. Nexian sensors could always detect these quantum pathways, Sarah explained, but it took human pattern recognition to realize they could be used for more than just communication. She manipulated the display, showing how the quantum pathways intersected. We've discovered that these natural quantum bridges could revolutionize space travel, energy production, even terraforming. A scientist stood up. This is impossible. The energy requirements alone. Impossible. Sarah smiled. 3 months ago, I broke an alien queen out of prison using a speaker and some creative thinking. Humanity's greatest strength is making the impossible possible. She brought up footage from the Innovation Initiative's first successful test. It showed a small probe using the natural quantum pathways to travel vast distances with minimal energy expenditure. The implications were staggering. But technology isn't the most important part of this alliance, Zira said. What we're proposing is a true partnership. Earth will not be a subject of the Nexian Empire, nor will we simply be benefactors delivering advanced technology. We will learn from each other, grow together. Sarah nodded. The remaining supporters of Vex's faction fear this partnership because they know it will change both our civilizations. And they're right, change is coming. The only question is whether we'll let fear hold us back or embrace the opportunities ahead. The room erupted in discussion, but Sarah wasn't finished. She activated one final display, showing a series of projects already underway at the Innovation Initiative. Each one combined human and Nexian approaches in ways that defied conventional wisdom. Look at what we've achieved in just 3 months, she said. Imagine what we could do in a year, in a decade. This isn't just about advancing technology, it's about evolving as species, learning from each other's strengths and weaknesses. A diplomat stood up. And what happens when we encounter other alien civilizations? Will they be as open to collaboration? That, Zira said, is precisely why this partnership is so important. Together, we can show the galaxy a new way forward, not through dominance or fear, but through innovation and cooperation. Sarah touched the quantum bridge device that had started it all. Every great advancement in human history began with someone taking a risk, trying something new. Today, we're not just taking a step forward, we're taking a quantum leap into a future where the combined potential of our civilizations knows no bounds. The audience sat in stunned silence, processing the magnitude of what was being proposed. But Sarah saw something in their eyes that gave her hope, the same spark of curiosity and excitement that had led her to answer an alien distress call all those months ago. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity's journey to the stars would not be a solo venture. They would go forward hand in hand with their new allies, proving that the greatest achievements come not from fear and control, but from embracing the beautiful chaos of cooperation and innovation. As the questions began pouring in from the audience, Sarah shared a knowing look with Zira. The real work was just beginning, but together, they would show the galaxy what was possible when two civilizations chose to face the unknown as one. Victory through unity. 1 year after the historic announcement of the Human-Nexian Alliance, Sarah stood in the control center of the Innovation Initiative's space station, watching Earth rotate beneath her. The station, now fully operational, was a testament to what could be achieved when two civilizations worked together. Its crystalline spires, built with Nexian technology, merged seamlessly with human-designed modules in a structure that was neither purely alien nor purely terrestrial. Quantum breach detected. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, one of Earth's top quantum physicists, called out from her station, multiple signatures emerging from deep space. Sarah shared a grim look with Queen Zira, who stood beside her in physical form rather than hologram. They had been expecting this day. Intelligence from loyal Nexian forces had warned that Vex's remaining supporters had gathered for one final attempt to prevent what they saw as the contamination of their civilization. 27 warships, Maya reported. Their quantum signatures match the remnants of Vex's faction. They're charging weapons. And so they show their true colors, Zira said calmly. Not as protectors of civilization, but as those who would destroy what they fear. She turned to Sarah. Are we ready? Sarah nodded, activating the station's primary interface. The hybrid quantum matrix hummed to life, its displays showing the complex web of natural quantum pathways surrounding Earth. All defense systems are online, but let's try diplomacy first. The lead warship hailed them, and the stern face of Admiral Nix appeared on the main screen. She had escaped capture after their last encounter and had spent the past year gathering forces. "This ends today," Nyx declared. "Your experiment in mixing primitive and advanced cultures has gone far enough. Surrender the station and withdraw from Earth, or we will be forced to demonstrate the true power of pure Nexian technology." Sarah stepped forward. "Admiral, look around you. Really look. This station alone has advanced both our civilizations more in 1 year than either achieved alone in decades. The hybrid matrix has revolutionized space travel. Our medical exchange program has cured diseases on both our worlds. Why would you want to destroy that?" "Progress must be controlled," Nyx insisted. "Directed. What you've created is chaos." "No," Sarah countered. "What we've created is evolution." She activated a secondary display showing projects from across the station. "You see chaos because you're looking with old eyes. Let me show you what we really built here." The display shifted to show a new type of ship under construction in the station's main dock. Its design was unlike anything either civilization had created before, organic curves melding with geometric precision, powered by a revolutionary dry system that combined human fusion technology with Nexian quantum engineering. "That's impossible," Nyx whispered. "Those systems shouldn't be compatible." "That's what we used to think about our civilizations," Zira said. "Yet here we stand, stronger together than we ever were apart." She gestured to the station around them. "This is not chaos, Admiral. This is growth." But Nyx's features hardened, growth that must be pruned. She cut the transmission, and her fleet moved into attack formation. Sarah quickly activated the station's defense protocols, but not the ones Nyx would be expecting. Over the past year, they had prepared for this moment, developing systems that no one would anticipate. "Everyone to your stations," Sarah commanded. "Initialize the Harmony Protocol." The station's hybrid matrix pulsed with new energy as hundreds of small satellites, designed by human engineers and powered by Nexian quantum cores, activated around the station. Each one was simple by Nexian standards, but together. "Quantum web engaged," Maya reported. "Matrix synchronization at optimal levels." The attacking fleet opened fire, their advanced weapons lancing toward the station. But as the energy beams reached the field created by the satellite network, something remarkable happened. The quantum web didn't just deflect the attacks, it absorbed them, redistributing the energy through the natural quantum pathways they had mapped. "Impossible." Nyx's voice crackled over the comm. "Our weapons are being turned into something better," Sarah finished. She activated the final phase of their defense. The absorbed energy, channeled through the quantum pathways, began to manifest around each attacking ship as containment fields, not to destroy, but to transform. "This is what we've been working toward," Sarah explained to the stunned Admiral. "Not better weapons, but better solutions. These fields aren't prisons, they're bridges. The same technology we use to heal diseases and power our new ships. You can fight against it, or—" She left the offer hanging as the containment fields began to resonate with the quantum cores of the Nexian ships. One by one, their weapon systems shut down, not through force or destruction, but through harmony, the perfect synchronization of human and Nexian technology working together. "The choice was never between control and chaos," Zira added. "It was between stagnation and growth, between fear and hope." On the tactical display, they watched as ship after ship stood down, their crews realizing the futility of fighting against something they didn't truly understand. Even Nyx, after a tense moment, ordered her forces to surrender. As Earth's defense forces and loyal Nexian ships moved in to secure the fleet, Sarah looked out at her homeworld again. The blue marble that had once seemed so isolated in the cosmos now sat at the heart of something revolutionary. Proof that different didn't mean incompatible, that progress didn't require conquest, and that the greatest adventures came not from dominating the unknown, but from embracing it. "What happens now?" Maya asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Sarah smiled, sharing a knowing look with Zira. "Now, Now we really get to work. Because out there, she gestured to the stars beyond Earth, are countless other civilizations, each with their own unique perspectives and innovations. And thanks to what we've built here, we can meet them not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals, ready to learn, grow, and evolve together. The Innovation Initiative Station continued its orbit around Earth, its hybrid systems humming with the combined power of two civilizations that had chosen to face the future as one. It stood as a beacon of hope, a testament to human ingenuity and Nexian wisdom, and a promise that the greatest achievements come not from fearing difference, but from celebrating it. The story of humanity's first steps into the galactic community wouldn't be remembered as a tale of conquest or submission, but as proof that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or weapons. It's the simple choice to reach across the stars and say, let's build something new together.